So once again, welcome to the fifth of our SME Crisis Response Webinars. My name is Lorenzo Marchese and I'm the Communication Manager for European Entrepreneurs. Today's webinar is really dedicated to the protection of intellectual properties. This is quite an important topic, but maybe a topic that is not discussed enough, because SMEs do face challenges on this front. For example, they first and foremost have an harder time protecting their intellectual property because they have fewer resources than their bigger counterparts. And on the other hand, they don't always necessarily have the knowledge how to do it as well. They for example, faces other, besides the protection itself, they also face challenges like the so-called patent trolls, who are people who make claims against their intellectual property legally just to force them into a legal battle, which they will then ask for to settle, even if they don't really have a case to stand on. That obviously puts SMEs in a very difficult position because, again, it's very costly to respond to challenges like that, either when your property is being used without your permission or when you're having bogus claims that just cost you time and money to defend yourself. So what we want to do today is to maybe introduce our companies who have kindly joined us to some of the tools the European Union puts in place to protect SMEs and to help them protect themselves. There is a dedicated, let's say, agency or a dedicated office that takes care of the protection of intellectual property rights, EUIPO, the European Union Intellectual Property Office. And they have set up a tool that is dedicated specifically for SMEs, and it's called the SME Fund. And we are honored today to be joined by Mr. Nicolas Vigneron, who will introduce the tool to all of you and present how it can help setting it up for how it can help companies specifically with this issue. So, Mr. Vigneron, without further ado, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lorenzo, and good morning, everyone. Many thanks to Lorenzo and Stefan for the invitation this morning to have the opportunity to present what we do to support SMEs at EUIPO. I will be sharing some slides there that we have prepared to you. So first of all, some word of introductions about the EUIPO. We are the European Union Intellectual Property Office. We are an agency of the European Union. We are located, as you can see in the picture in the slide, in the south of Spain, close to the sea. And we are the agency dealing with intellectual property matters in the European Union. So we have mainly two main roles. The first role is that from our creation in '94, but we are responsible for the registration of trademark and design, which are valid through the entire territory of the European Union. We do receive roughly, to give you some elements of information, more than 160,000 trademark applications every year that we do process, and we do the same for design. A bit more than 110,000 of community designs are protected every year. That's the first main activity that we have. The second activity, which is much wider, is that we support policymakers at European national level, as well as we support prosecutors, judges, and so on by observing, and we have one role in the observatory for against infringements of intellectual property rights. So this is where we do some studies, researches, but also we have a network of the different parties in the supporting, the enforcement of intellectual property rights within the European Union, but also beyond, where we train them, provide them information, so all in the capacity building area. So we have over 1,600 employees working for the office, and we do work in all EU languages. That said, And as part of the recent activities that we have launched in the observatory researches, here we could, from a number of different studies where we look together with the European Patent Office in Munich, which is the European organizations dealing with patent protection in Europe. We have been doing a number of studies, and one of the study revealed that actually, despite the fact that SMEs represent the main asset in the most of the businesses in Europe, unfortunately, unlike big companies, the European SMEs are not using the full potential that intellectual property can bring to them for protecting their creativity or their innovations. Only 9%, and this is quite a striking number there, only 9% of the SMEs own their own intellectual property rights. But some other studies shows that actually the more SMEs are making use of intellectual property to protect their intangible assets, the more revenues they will get, no? And the more insurance they will build in surviving and growing and having a sustainable business. The figures there I would like to share is 68% of the SMEs with SMEs with IP rights have a 68% higher revenue per employee. That's those who do not have, no? And this number is much higher for SMEs than for other type of companies, no? So, I mean, with these numbers there, we have created a number of initiatives now to support SMEs. And the main reason why SMEs are not, from the different research that we have done, are not making use of intellectual property rights, it's mainly because of the lack of awareness about intellectual property. It's a bit more complex because the lack of awareness is not completely, as you can imagine, and then maybe as you can experience, it's not so much about what is intellectual property, but actually what is the value that intellectual property can give to their business. It's also it's seen or it's perceived sometimes as very complex, very administrative, and also not a cheap activity, which is not even ranking very high into the priorities that businesses might have. So we have launched quite an ambitious program at the EUIPO, together also in close collaborations with member states intellectual property offices, where we have a very close network, and also with the European Commission that has issued 2 years ago an IP action plan, and there are a number of activities there that we are implementing directly in the European Union. I would like just to indicate there and to present what we call the SME Fund, and it's actually one of these key measures done for as an answer to one of these pain points identified that SMEs are experiencing, which is the cost that intellectual property has in accessing to this protection, and also in designing what is the best strategy. So as part of the IP action plan, the EUIPO is implementing a financial support mechanism in a form of a grant, where we reimburse a number of IP activities to the European SMEs. This scheme has already been running in 21. We have had more than 10,000 SMEs we have benefited from the SME Fund in 21, and now we have negotiated a 3-year scheme, so 22 to 24, so to ensure the continuity of this financial support, and where we will be covering more IP activities depending on the feedback that we receive from SMEs, from member states, and from you, who are representing a lot of SMEs as well. As part of this of the fund, I mean, we started this year with a budget of 16 million euros. I just can tell you that actually, due to very positive uptake, the budget has been increased by another 10 million. So currently this year we have going to support SMEs with 26 million euros on IP activities. And it's divided by a number of activities that we cover. First activity that we are covering is what we call IP scan. No? IP scan is an advice. It's a report which is produced by an external expert to support the IP strategy of the SME. So there is an expert which is appointed, which is an external expert in intellectual property, this expert is sitting together with the SMEs, looking at their intellectual property strategy, reviewing a number of elements there, and they produce in a couple of weeks a report that contains some recommendations as to how the SME can take the most of their intellectual property or what they currently have. Also, the expert will identify potential opportunities about the creativity or innovations that the company has. Maybe they have not even wondered that this can be of any the art should be protected, and they can get some money out of it. So this IP scan is which is a fixed fee per country. It can go up to 1,500 euros, and we reimburse 90% of the costs, in addition to all the development of training of experts, reports that we are doing. Then we do cover also trademark and design protection there. First, the trademark and design protection, which is at the national or EU level. And here we reimburse 75% of the fees, which are paid to the intellectual property offices by the applicant. But we also, and that's something which is new this year compared to the previous years, the dimension, the international dimension. It's very important. Sometimes it's even critical for SMEs, and for that we are also protecting, we are supporting SMEs when they go outside the European Union to protect their trademarks and their design, and for that we are reimbursing via the SME Fund 50% of the fees to get the trademark or design protection via one of the international systems that do exist and simplify a lot of administrative matters. So that's all covered under one voucher that SMEs can get. Then alternatively, or in addition, the SME can also apply to get support for patent protection, and for that we are reimbursing 50% of the fees for national patent protection, which is something that has been newly introduced this year. So these are the activities covered. No, these activities are divided in two different vouchers. One voucher that we call voucher 1, that covers trademark and design protection and IP scan, and for that there is a maximum amount of 1,500 euros, and it's a little bit like a line of credit. That means that it works in a way that, and I will explain further the process, which is quite simple. The SME apply for the fund, then get the decisions that they are entitled, and then they have a certain time to use the fund depending on their IP strategy. So imagine that first of all, they want to have some advice about their IP strategy. They can go and request for an IP scan. Then when they have the IP scan done, there is a recommendation of protecting their trademark and design. They can then file trademarks and design, and they will get their reimbursement of the fees, no? Up to the maximum limit of 1,500 euros for this year, no? Of money they can get. Then for the voucher 2, which covers patent, this limit is up to 750 euros. That can be subsidized by the SME Fund for this year. Of course, it's a 3-year program, so SMEs can perfectly start by doing some activities during the first year. Next year, there will be other activities, and to which the SME can also make use of the fund, and it will be the same for 24. The only thing that only key element is that from the moment where they get the request accepted and approved by the EUIPO, they get 4 months to activate it, to make the first activity that will then trigger the fact that they can have the voucher fully open. So how does it work? It works like a grant. First of all, SMEs, the beneficiary or their representative, and our representative is not only lawyers, but they can be accountants, they can be a number of supporting. It should only be a third party which is authorized by the SME to act on their behalf. So we have a very wide can have to go to the EUIPO website, and they have to apply for the grant. Then, as a second, we will examine the grant request. And the grant decision will be delivered in maximum of 15 working days. So it's quite quick. And as an average, I can tell you that we are doing in 9 working days currently, and despite the very high. So we wanted to have the system very quick so that then the third phase, which is where the SME can initiate their IP activity, can be done very quickly, between the moment where they see the fund, they apply for the fund, and then they can start filing their first trademark, requesting IP scan, or filing their patent. And then when they pay the fees, so every time that they pay a fee, they can get a reimbursement. There is, for that, they have another electronic form where once they have paid the fee, they come to the EUIPO website, and they will just claim the reimbursement of the fee. And it can be done as a batch of fees, or it can be done by individual fees, and we will proceed with the reimbursement. Where to find all the information? So at euipo.europa.eu, you will have we will be sharing the PowerPoint, and you have some information. This is where actually all the information is available. We have also an online chat, so that which is very popular, 50% of the SMEs are using the online chat to get to answer their questions when they are filling on the form. For that, they will have to log in. Why? Because we need to make sure that to authenticate the user, but also we are providing an account where all the online form for the reimbursement is available, and where at any moment the SME can see their consumption of the fund and can request more reimbursement. They will see how much is left from their 1,500 euros for the voucher one, and then they can claim and run and manage more activities. So the form is quite straightforward. We only request at the moment of requesting what type of activities they want, who they are. You see, I mean, names, emails, nothing. What is important there, only information that we are requiring, which actually is maybe a bit more complex to get, or should be done before. It's we require 3 main documents. The first document is a document that certifies or identify the company. It can be or a VAT document. In the case that the company or the business is not subject to VAT, it could be, then we will request. I mean, they can provide a national identification certificate, what they call the TIN document. But we have some example of documents that could be provided directly online. Then the second document which is requested is the bank account certificate. It's a simple document that you can get from online from your bank that identify the owner of the bank account, as well as all the bank details, which is requested. I mean, there we request nothing, the IBAN or the BIC and Swiss codes, which is for us then to key in the bank account where we will be proceeding to the reimbursement. And finally, we will ask, in the case there is, the request is not done by the SME itself, but by a representative, will request a declaration of honor that they have a mandate from the SME to act on their behalf. So each voucher can be requested in one single form, or each voucher will be able to be requested once a year. So that means that next year there will be another opportunity for SMEs to get financial support. We have been simplifying the administrative process, where actually all these elements there which are requested for 1 year will not have to be repeated for the following year unless there are changes. Then we communicate everything by email. So that means that within the 15 working days, or the SME will receive by email its grant award, and or we will proceed to request some clarification of email. The vast majority of clarification emails are submitted due to some missing supporting documentation or incorrect one, where, for instance, the documents of the VAT is not corresponding to the company. No, it's not the same company or the same indicated. So normally, I mean, we manage to overcome all these clarifications quickly, and more than 97% of the requests are positive, are positively evaluated. In the case the SME is not eligible, so then we will proceed to a rejection email and to informing the SME, and they can always proceed with another request. Then when they have these decisions, they can start and they will see in their SME account online, so that they can start the IP activities, and then they, depending on the voucher that they have, they can all request the IP scan or go and file trademarks or design directly to the EUIPO, to the IPOs of the member states where they want to seek protection, or even to WIPO in the case of international protection. The same would apply for voucher 2 for national patent. They can start by filing their patent activities. No? And as soon as they have filed, normally in case of filing, you have to pay the first fees, which will be correspond to application or filing fees. And then based on this first payment, they can claim their first reimbursement, which will activate their voucher. The voucher, if they do not do any activity, the voucher expire after 4 months, but they can, and there is a reminder which is sent by email, so that it can be extended by 2 additional months. Mainly what we can see this year is mainly due for preparing, for instance, patent, which requires a bit more preparation time for having a good patent applications, and that might require a bit more than these 4 months. So for getting reimbursed, it's easy. We just have to indicate which of the fees and the date of payment, and add the invoice or the evidence of the fees, so, and the payment, so that actually we can proceed to the payment, which is quite straightforward. Just to give you some example of the reimbursed fees, I mean, I've taken an example that maybe you are less familiar with, which is the trademark protection in Malta or at EU, but at EU level, for instance, the European trademark valid for all the member states of the European Union costs 850 euros. That means that with the 75% reimbursement, the SME will have really to pay 212 euros. No, for design, for EU design, it's the price is 350 euros, and we thanks to the SME Fund, the SME will have more than 262 euros to be reimbursed. No, so you could see there that even within the 1,500 euros, it gives quite a little, quite a good margin for SMEs to define and to design a strategy to protect their trademark, their design in different countries during 1 year. So today we have received more than 11,000 requests from SMEs, from 11,000 SMEs. So in a bit more than 5 months, which is the reason why we have added 10 more million euros to continue the scheme. further. It's open until we have money or until the end of the year, and we are already starting working with the European Commission to for the next year one. So I can already say that next year there will be a continuation of the scheme and its continued promotions. 75%, so 3/4 of the SMEs that are requesting access to the SME Fund and have been granted so far out of this 11,000. So are new to trademarks and design to IP. So that means that they have no IP rights protected in Europe before making this filing. So really we can see and observe that it's one of the main objectives that we had with the European Commission when we set up the scheme. So to really give this opportunity to SMEs which are not protecting their intellectual property to do it for the first time. So I put in that slide a number of contact elements there where you can, where you can convey to your members. We also have some communication materials, but we'll be very happy to share with you. But we have frequently asked questions on our website. You can always contact us at information@europa.eu, where you can get an answer in all languages, and also you can use our online chat when you are in the forum. In the case you have any doubt, it's much better that you click on the chat, and then we will have an agent that will be very happy to answer your questions and clarify what needs to be clarified. So with that, I would like to end my presentation, and I give you some more reference there about where you can contact us and how you can benefit from this SME Fund initiative in order to protect what is one of the important and key assets that SMEs have, which are the intangible assets. So thank you very much, and have a nice morning.
Yeah, hello, good morning, Nicolas Vigneron. Thank you very much for your presentation. That was, I would say, really a good overview of the very interesting offer of the SME Fund. To be honest, in 25 years of EU project consultancy that I do, I have nearly never seen such a very easy approach to apply for a support, which might be very low, but crucial, as you showed already, that 75% of those who have received the fund have never protected any kind of intellectual property. And also very important, the point that you made at the beginning, that those who have protected it have an increase of revenues, if I understood correctly, of plus 68% in average. That is enormous, enormous. It's not kind of 1 point or 2 points more. And here, indeed, the EUIPO, the European Union's Agency for Intellectual Property in Alicante, that helps very much. What I must say, I'm also very much surprised that not only it needs, let's say, some 2-3 pages to be filled in, but you also give vouchers for not only trademarks and designs, but also to scan or to prepare an application for patents at the EUIPO. Is that correct?
But actually, we don't cover the preparation of the patent application. So the IP scan is an advice on the IP strategy. So it formulates a number of recommendations. It will identify, for instance, if patent needs to be, if there are some invention that are owned by the company that needs or requires some patent protection. But we do not.
Is there also a limit, like in case of trademarks and designs, of 1,500 euros max?
Yeah, for patent, for national patent protection, we reimburse up to 750 euros.
700.
So yeah, but it covers protection in a number of countries because the SME Fund for this year will only covers the national patent protection.
I see. I would anyway like to invite the audience to ask a question if they're interested, to understand maybe better some aspects. I hope you have followed the whole presentation and you are free to open your microphone and ask a question. Is there somebody that would like to intervene? Yeah, you can anyway think about it. The SME Fund of the EUIPO beats every record. I would say 11,000 applications in 15 or even less than 10 days. The elaboration is done. You can't see that in any kind of public agency, not even on national levels, where they are very fast. Of course, it requires maybe a little bit of pre-knowledge, like this webinar, for example. But then, if I'm correct, in which languages one can apply in more than only English and French, or only these two languages? Maybe
it's available in all the EU languages. So we and the website is in all EU languages. So if an Hungarian SME wants to do it in Hungarian, he can do it in Hungarian. We'll get all documents in Hungarian. And the same to Maltese, for instance. I was taking this the example of the Maltese. There they can do in their own language. So that's languages is very key, no? And that's something that we have identified as an important element for SMEs, no?
That's amazing. That's amazing. As a representative of European SMEs, which let's say has to take care a little bit also about the equal chances of European small medium-sized enterprises, also on the market of intellectual property and designs, trademarks, and patents. I must say that this program is really very much welcome. I mean, the numbers, the figures that you have shown also regarding the numbers of applications that you have received from small medium-sized enterprises is very encouraging. And we can only say that we support the continuation of that program for the future, also next year. The small medium-sized enterprises, of course, will have the possibility to see also this webinar, because we are recording it, and we will share it on our website and in our social media channels again, to learn here, thanks to this presentation by you, Mr. Vigneron, about the details of the program. So thank you very much.
Stefan, I cannot hear you anymore. I don't know if it is also the other. I think you put yourself on mute.
Okay. Sorry. Here I am. Sorry. No, I was saying, as a confederation of small medium-sized enterprises in Europe, we very much welcome this initiative. That is really what we need: hands-on, simple, and fast, which helps exactly where it is needed in the key moments of the economic activity, to support us and to let's say fulfill the promises of the European Union, of the European single market, of the cooperation among 27 member states. That is, let's say, shown all in this program. So we really hope that it will be continued next year. Definitely, let's say we want to share this webinar that we have now recorded with all our members also in other countries, and allow more people to learn about it. Interesting also that you contribute to the protection of intellectual property also on international level with the WIPO. So there is no a conflict or a competition between the European or the international level. Of course, you could not help to protect things in Africa or in the United States or in China, whatever. And with this approach, you can. So that is very much welcome too. I again would give the floor or the possibility to somebody in the audience to raise a question if there is. Mrs. Schatz, Mr. van Kalkstein, Mr. Braunöck, Mrs. Tine, Mr. Jabo. Okay, nobody. Then I would say we don't continue to insist here, I would leave it to the participants to follow up with the webinar. Mr. Vigneron, you will send us, of course, your presentation, please, and we will put it on the website of our confederation that I might maybe show shortly. Our confederation's website is, let's say, behind this platform is very easy, European-entrepreneurs.org, where you can see also here the announcement of our webinar today. And under activities, one can find the SME2B trade and networking platform, where some of you participants have registered to this webinar, which is a platform which is currently totally free of charge, also because we are in a crisis situation, and where you can meet other participants that have decided to be today here with us. For example, Mr. Brauneck, he has registered very recently, and he takes his business is about wine and health. And others, for example, that are registered here, sometimes also offer their products on the marketplace or their services in order that you can understand what kind of activities they have. And if you want to meet them, you can directly request, send them a message or request a meeting with them, scheduling a video meeting inside the platform for free. You can easily choose the search for the people that you would like to meet. For example, you said before, let's say Malta, and you simply put in here, let's say Malta, and you find immediately those 4 participants from Malta which are registered on our platform. You can then follow up with them about what they are doing and what can be interesting for your business. It is a business-to-business platform. It's always open and it's growing continuously with numbers. So you're welcome to participate or also to register on our website, European-entrepreneurs.org, to our newsletter. Thank you again, EUIPO, Nicolas Vigneron, Jakub Sebula, and Richard Spiekermann for their collaboration in organizing this webinar. And I would say, wish a good day to everybody.
Thank you to you, and have a nice day.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, Jakub.